Tonight, a very special reception is held to commemorate the 40th anniversary of Ping Pong Diplomacy reciprocal visit to the United States by the Chinese national table tennis team. The term Ping Pong Diplomacy describes exchanges in the early 1970s of the table tennis players between the United States and China in hope of normalizing the countries' then strained relations. The August 28th reception at the Chinese consulate in New York brought together hundreds of guests from both countries who had witnessed the exchanges. Attendees included former U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, Berris, Vice President of the National Committee on U.S.-China Relations, Consul General Sun Guoxiang, and George Brathwaite, a member of the U.S. table tennis team that visited China in 1971. Kissinger, who is now 89, talked about accompanying Richard Nixon on the president's historic visit to China in 1972. He reflected on how China-U.S. relations have evolved since then.
Like the ambassador mentioned, it would be considered crazy. We had less trade with China than we had with Honduras at that time.
Other guests, many of whom have long been involved in various facets of the bilateral relationship, acknowledged the significance of ping pong diplomacy.
This was new to me and very interesting as a historian, and the whole event was, I thought, perfect, commemorating the 40th anniversary of ping pong diplomacy and how important music may be, games may be, etc., sometimes more important than when politicians get together. So this was really quite an experience.
It's a great story of how, unbeknownst how a game of table tennis, sports, as was said, can unite two great countries, the United States and China in this case, and how little really was known about it at the time. I mean, it was a big, very big event. It seems more exciting now, actually, than it was then, because you've seen the whole connection and the whole union of China relations, U.S. relations evolve. Back then it was very, we didn't know a lot about each other, China and the United States, and now it's very different.
In April 1971, the U.S. national table tennis team became the first American sports delegation to set foot in China since 1949. The Chinese table tennis team made a reciprocal visit to the U.S. the following year, 2 months after Nixon's historic visit to Beijing. Yuhan and Chen Weihua reporting for China Daily in New York.